What shirt is this? Oh, the Hyperwear one? I've got some other shirts for you guys, actually. Don't let me forget to give out the Spartan shirts. All right, cool. Oh yeah, there's like a men's and women's too, I think. I don't know, there's a little different. All right, so Fluffy Bunny. Gotta go too? Mine's already set. You're already set. Oh, we'll go through some stuff. Where'd it go? There it is. Is it recording? Let's see. All right, great. So Fluffy Bunny wise, so we can go the full length of the studio or we can go just part length. What's great about it is for Fluffy Bunny, what I can do is I can go, so what I've got here is, so I've got the movement and then I've got different alternatives for it. So if someone has back problems with the sagittal plane, when they're running, what I don't like is that basically if I'm running, then it means that one leg has to totally load and then other leg has to totally load and accept as the body goes through. You guys can turn that music up. You can have music, just keep it low. Put some music on, you need music. Yeah, you're fine. Walking lunges with short range of motion steps. If I go a long walking lunge, then typically what that means is it takes longer to go and I typically have more of a break in between. So if someone does a long lunge, they'll come down, then they'll stand up and then they'll go again. As opposed to if I go short range, bam, bam, and have people come through like that. So what I've done is I can also keep the chest tall because if I go short range of motion, then the hip flexor is not going to get lengthened out as much. So if I go long here, as soon as that hip flexor runs out, then people will start going like this. And then the low back starts to get at risk. But if I can go short range of motion, then basically there's no real reason why that hip flexor shouldn't be able to stay long and I should be able to stay tall. As an alternative to a Fluffy Bunny. So what I can do is I can just be like, okay, Fluffy Bunnies, okay, my person with a bad low back, can you just give me walking lunges but give me short range of motion? I can also, what's that? Yeah, or foot surgery, yeah. Yeah, if I don't want someone to be able to load on that foot, then that becomes a problem. Then also I can go traveling side squat. If someone has bad knees and they don't want to do a front lunge, so they say, that hurts, then I'll just go, give me side squat, just like that. And that, again, talking about things like, keeping the emphasis in the butt. What I'll sometimes find is if I give someone a weight to hold, and I give them the verbal cue, use this as a counterbalance. I can say, okay, use that as a counterbalance. If I give them this, then they'll just go like that. And I'll be like, okay, how's that? If I actually try to use that as a counterbalance, so you drop back, and it allows you to come a little bit more into your heels and to rise the toes up just a little bit. What it actually means is, all of a sudden, I can get them learning that. So I can give them a little bit of upper body movement, which I have no problem with, while they're doing their traveling side squats, and it'll take the emphasis out of the knees. So then I've got, for shoulders, obviously shoulders are an issue for this one. As a challenge, I've got 4 cones set up right now. If I needed to, all I could do was just say, all I need to do is just go, Rebecca, that's your bonus cone. So Rebecca has to do like an extra long one, like there, and so of course she's trying to get there. So, or alternatively, I could say, okay, cool. If I've got 2 people who are fast racing against each other, then I can go, okay, cool. So you're going to go against Rebecca. Okay, so Rebecca, this is going to be you. Okay, and I keep the other person right there. Then all of a sudden I've added that length out. Or I could move the length of the other one if I want to be really mean. But I can just vary this out. Does that help? Does anyone else have? Another variation is if someone doesn't like if I've already done some running stuff with them, is if I'm repeating the set the second time, is I'll do a fluffy bear crawl, where basically it's like a Fluffy Bunny, but they run up and then bear crawl backwards, and then run up and then bear crawl backwards. They love that. Yeah. And or I can do That's right. More ammo. Cool. That's right. Does anyone else have any variations on Fluffy Bunny that they use or they like to mix in?
I like to put sandals with them.
Oh.
And they've got to come pick them up. That's healthy back stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen a variation of that in the morning classes. The only challenge I have is I get scared when I see people carrying them. Like if we have them carrying them, just basically give them some guideline on how to carry them, because I've seen some people doing that. And my only challenge with that is that if yeah, like that, like they'll just put it on their back and try to run with it. And so, yeah. No, I know. But just for the kids watching at home, basically, if we want to give someone something to hold while they run, give them directions on how we want it held and where we want it held. Because basically, if I come here, my worry is that if someone has a tight shoulder muscles, then basically if I come to about here, then I'm going to go, okay, cool, well, let me just tilt the chest up and let me just have that low back sag down, and all of a sudden I've got this low back at risk while I'm pounding each step along. So let's make sure that that's something that doesn't happen. Or if you want to say, hold it on one shoulder, I'm okay with that, or make it maybe like a football carry, then I'm okay with that. Actually, this might actually be a really good way to do it, just because that way it's close to the body, it's under one arm, they have to hold it, there's some lateral stability that has to happen, and I know that way the arms can still move to help the body rotate. So let's try that. So let's just basically go, well, maybe under one arm and then under the other arm, and we'll just call it the baby carry or the Heisman or whatever you want to give it. The baby Heisman.
I also added a license that helps with a hypertrophy and they have to run through and then, with the ring and get it onto the hyper.
Oh yeah. Yes. It's like the, yeah, that is a super fun game. So basically you're talking about just like something like that. Something like that. Something like that. There we go. Something like that, yeah. And then, yeah, so I'll do that actually with pairs of people. So like I'll give them each like 4 rings. So I'll be like, okay, cool. It's like we're getting into games now, but basically it's like, okay, you've got 4 rings, you've got 4 rings. You got to run up, stop at this line, and then like, toss it in and keep tossing until you get it. And then, and then basically until one of you has all their rings down, everyone else has to keep going. Or something like that. Now, that can get pretty brutal pretty fast if you've got two people that have no ultimate frisbee ability. Or it can go pretty fast. So, but what you can do is, if you know you're going to do it 2 rounds, then you can do 1 round and then a second round. Okay, so number 2. Okay, open squat with sandbell slam. So what I mean by that is, so an open squat, so if I have a closed squat, can you just look in there in the viewfinder there, Lindsay, tell me if I'm in camera? Don't move it, just, no, don't move it. Just look in the viewer, just look, am I in? Good, all right, cool. So a regular squat would just be up here, bam. For this exercise, make sure, because I see it a lot, and people are just go like, I'm awesome at this exercise, like I'm so good at it. And there's absolutely no knee bend whatsoever that happens. The whole idea is to find an athletic stance. I'll sometimes use an analogy of like, try to sit down in a chair, like it's musical chairs or something like that, as you're dropping down. So to keep that chest high as we go. Now an open squat is going to be open 90 degrees. What I'll see sometimes is a side squat from people. So try to make sure they give me an open squat, smash it down, and then hands together, open squat. That timing is what I'm looking for, where the feet come together and then bring it down. I've seen people sometimes go like that. Again, we don't want just hanging behind, because the second that whiplash is over the top of the head, then the low back dives forward. Why don't we give you guys a sandbell each, since you're all like sitting around, and since Mariah's cold. Have I explained to you guys the difference between the sandbell and the steel bell yet? The steel bell is the metal one, the black one with the silver lining. That's steel shot. Either 25. Yeah, 25 has a gap.
I've got the stand on my
Oh, shit. Sorry. Does not feel good. Yeah. All right, so I can go. So let's just give me like a regular slam. Just drop down. Good. Time out. So variations of this slam real quick is I can go right now, each of you are holding it at 9 and 3 o'clock. So if you imagine holding it at 9 and 3 o'clock, like I'm driving, okay? I can also hold it at 12 o'clock. So bring it up high, smash it down. But again, don't let it flip behind. Good. Don't let it flip behind. Good. Becca. Don't let him flip. I know, she's like, I'm trying. Okay, there we go. So right there. Alternatively, I can also go palm up, slam it down that way, which I think is a better different feedback. It's a different feedback. Let me put it a different way. If I had a client with bad shoulders, I would feel better about giving them this than I would that. Or alternatively, I would say, okay, I'll be watching them, I'll say, okay, instead of this slam, give me palms up. Because I know that from here, if the palms are up, then the shoulder's never going to be in an internally rotated position. When the shoulder is in an internally rotated position, that's when things tend to go wrong for a shoulder. If I can keep the shoulders open, or if I can do that, if I can especially ask them to keep the chest high, as they smash it down, then we should be fine. Does that help? Can you visualize that? Do you have a question? Okay. So for knees, trouble if someone has low back pain is that with this, is that if I go, okay, give me a smash, that's great, but now they need to get down here. If the low back's killing them, then I'm going to be asking for trouble. So what I could do is I could have them do it on a box. I could set up, so I could move the whole group over there. I never want to split the group out, so I would just have everyone pick up their sandbells and go over there, and then I'd have them slam it down on a box. It's going to make a whole bunch more noise. And the way I would do that, real quick, would you rotate that so it looks at me? Is I would go here, here. Okay, so right now what I've done is I've gone smash. So noisy, I love it. So right now I've gone smash, but I don't have to get down to the ground to get it. I can just get right here. You got me? Or you can set up two boxes. That's not going to have a nice bounce to it. Alternatively, if I didn't want to do that, what I can do is now I can go, okay, I'm going to give you the footwork drill. Okay, so you're going to go from here, smash, drop down, smash, drop down. And if I go here, then what I've done is I've brought this knee down to the ground, so it's just a small little reach to come get it. Okay, if they can't get it from here, then this exercise isn't for them. What I do like about this is that I can rationalize it and say, in the real world, things are going to be on the ground. You need to be able to get them off the ground. I want to make you stronger at getting things off the ground. This is one way I'm going to do it. It'll take them longer to get through the same number of reps. You guys done? Okay. Thanks for playing. See you next week. Ciao. Oh, you can try. Yeah. I'll bet it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'd want to do a few practice bounces first, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, medicine ball. Yeah. It's the visual I have is like you got the trainer going. He's like, all right, I'm here with the big guy there, and he's going to show you how to do a medicine ball slam. He's like, what I want you to do is take the ball, just slam it down as hard as you can. Then it's going to bounce, you're going to catch it, and then slam it again. And the big guy's like, bounce it. He goes, as hard as I can. He's like, yeah. So the guy just goes, like the big guy just grabs it and just goes, wham! And like the picture, like they show against slam, it's just like, so like just like, yeah. He's like so like does one of those, like what the hell just happened? No.
When they're doing this, I keep trying to tell them,
Yep.
they'll pick it up with one hand.
Yep.
It's like they have got one hand on their knee,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yes.
And they bring it up like that.
Mhm.
It drives me nuts.
Why?
You get them to stop doing that, even if you say,
Why does it drive you nuts?
well, that's, to me, it's like either like their back is hurting, they can't get down.
Mhm.
To me, it should be you're loaded equally to do that.
Right. What I'd say is I give them a caveat. I'd say right now what's happening, because the same thing when you see people do side lunge and they'll go like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So what I'd say is if your back hurts, I'll give you a hand to help it up. Okay. But if it doesn't, then you got to pick it up with no, and I call it sneaky hand syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like you'll see people like that. Yeah, like that. No, they don't. So what I'd say is if you see it, then you can be like, I'll give you if you need the hand because it hurts to pick it up otherwise, then I'll give you the sneaky hand. Or alternatively, if you want to give them the different version, then you can say if you see them doing sneaky hand, you can say you get the footwork version. So then you go, okay, now you got to drop down, pick it up, like that. So then you slow it down for them, but you make it a little more challenging for them. Alternatively, you could also say, I'll let you have the sneaky hand, but I need you to do it one side with the right and then the other side with the left. And that way you're at least getting equal, as opposed to them always doing the same side. Yeah. But so it's a fair enough question. Because what you're saying is they don't realize that they're stealing away from their core by putting their arm in that position. Yeah. No, it's going to be true for a lot of exercises. It becomes a fun thing. Okay, so I've got over squat, slam bar, slam onto a box, slam onto a box. Is my knees, my knee variation. I've written there slam onto a box, but actually my knee variation would be with more of a tilt. So let's actually do it with a tilt. And what I'm going to say is just a 20-degree knee bend. Okay, so I'm going to go here, 20-degree knee bend. Okay, the key thing is, so everyone give me that. So give me like a slam with tilt, not a slam with squat. Open tilt. Good. Pick it up. Open tilt. Good. So still slam it down, but just don't bend the knees as much. I don't drop. I just bend the knees 20 degrees. So let's go here, 20-degree bend, up, 20-degree bend, up, 20-degree bend. The different emphasis is this. Time out. Different emphasis is that chest high. Because as people get to here, they're going to want to cave down. So say, I'll give it to you, but you've got to have the chest high as you drop down. You with me? Okay, go for it. Show it to me. Good. So make sure when you've got the people doing it that I'm going feet start at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, feet together, other side goes back. Feet together, other side goes back. Go for it. Get the feet all the way together for me. Oh, Becca's doing a different version. So time out. Okay, so alternatively, we'll do a little alternative just because Rebecca's experimenting with it already. Alternatively, I can say this is my pivot foot. Okay, so I could go here, here, here. Got me? So everyone try that. Make your left foot the pivot foot. Good, time out. So now if I wanted to talk about a rotation drill that I need as part of my workout, I would count this as a twist. Because what I'm doing is I'm twisting under load, there's momentum happening as I'm coming up. I'm quite happy to call this one. Good. So now twist with the other foot. So if you had your left foot as a pivot, now your right foot is a pivot. Try that. Good. Make sure you reverse pivot. I don't want you to get dizzy. So reverse pivot out. Third pivot in. Good. Nice. So now you've done both of those, give me the original again. Tell me how it feels. So we're going to go feet together. One goes out. Feet together. Other goes out. Back up. Step back for the right foot. It's all right. Time out. So what I want is that. Smash it down. Everyone keep going. Good. Smash it. Good. Feet together. Left foot smashes out. Good. Good. Feet together. Good. Goal. Now face me up. Good. Time out. Good. You feeling warm now? Good. Good. I'm good. You do a slam in the middle, then a slam, then a slam in the middle, then a slam, right?
We have to do 180.
Show it to me. Good. So what I'd like to do instead of that, I don't have a problem with that, but what I'd like to do instead of that is actually to do a vertical 180 and then slam. So, oh yeah, good. So alternative, or you could go here. So all I'm doing is I'm bringing it to chest height, bring the chest height, and then I can go head height, and then all the way over, like that. And that way it's not two separate movements. You guys want to try that? Go for it. Game on. Let's try it. There's a 10 if someone needs it. Okay, so start with chest height. Good. I don't want to pause and slam. I want you to slam as you're landing. You got me? So I don't want you to go slam. I want you to go slam. Okay? Go for it. Use a lighter weight if you need it. Good. Let's go head height. Good. Rainbow. Rainbow, all the way over. As high as you can go. Good. Good. 5, 4. Chest stays high as you drop it down. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Good. So that would be a bump up for sure. Now, if I wanted to, I could, for a level down, if I wanted to lower the intensity, if I know it's going to be too much for someone, I can go, give me a slam, slam, come to the middle, flip it, slam. Come to the middle, flip it, slam. So all I'm doing is I'm going, giving them a little fun thing to do here, so they won't feel like I'm actually telling them, pause, stop, take a time out because you're too friggin' unfit. What they'll think is, oh, it's a cool little, I'll just say, just give me a little extra drill just to get you more familiar with the sandbells. Give me a flip, smash it. Give me a flip, smash it right there. And what I've done is I've bought them a split-second break that means they'll be able to finish the whole set as opposed to feel like they're dying and like a fish out of water. Now you know why I only got through the first set, the first circuit last time. All right, open squat with windmill slam, with sandbell slam. Tilt with Viper reach to ground. All right. So everyone grab a Viper. We need more blues. I know we need more blues. I keep telling people that there's actually like a 3-month wait, which was true about 3 months ago, but not anymore. Yeah, I can get those replaced. I just need to take them into headquarters. It's good to be a master trainer. You get all sorts of advantages. What I'm hoping is I can trade out some of the blacks for blues, because we've got four black Vipers right now, or 4 10s. I'm hoping they'll have a few 8s, so they'll just be willing to trade down for me. Since it's $20 price difference, but like the blue Vipers right now are about like $220 each. What? About $220 for a blue Viper. Yeah, I know. It's about $400 for a 20. Yeah. All right, so right now, I'm going to show you. That's right. Yeah. Edit. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys. So previously, a Viper tilt would be one leg back, so on the heel, on the toe, and then I would touch down here and come back up and touch down here. So now that's one version. So everyone give me like a few of those, and then I'll show you the level up from there. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to touch down, touch the ground, or I can again reduce that range of motion if I've got someone who has a bad low back. I can just say, and sometimes I'm just saying, put the emphasis in that big toe. Put the emphasis in that big toe. What people will often do if they have a bad low back is they'll go here. You'll see a whole bunch of knee bending happening because they're trying to dodge using that low back. Okay? So, and that's okay. If I'm okay with that and you're okay with that, as long as you know what's going on. So in other words, if you see someone doing it and the person next to them starts doing it and you go, no, you keep tilting it. They say, but they're bending their knee. You say, yeah, that's okay for them. You know, I'm watching each person individually as I'm doing a group exercise. So now, a new version of this one, okay, so right here, is what I can do is I can go reach out a little further, make it more challenging, or I can give it a different grip altogether. So right now what I'm going to do is and this is Chuck Wolf stuff. So I'm going to go left hand in a suitcase grip, right hand on the outside. This is the start position, not back here, right here. I'm going to reach down and touch down the ground and then come back up. Reach down. What I like about this is in this position, this arm is internally rotated, which drops the shoulder down more, brings the ribs around more, gets more into this right hip. Give me that one. So this is less of a tilt one, more of a rotate one. And again, I want 90% of the weight on the front foot, into the front toe, and about 10% on the back foot just for balance. Good. So knees typically aren't a problem with this one. If knees are a problem with this one, then it would be because the knee doesn't like rotating. So what I would say is, give me that. So everyone try that one. So instead of touching out there, just say, touch down here. Touch down here. Okay, it's a little more hamstring, a little less glute, but it's also less rotation of the knee. So the knee should be happier with it. What I do like about it is it means I can take this exercise and say, someone goes, that hurts, I don't have to go, okay, let me show you a whole new exercise while the set's going on. I can just go, instead of touching 12 o'clock, touch out to the side. Easy enough? Cool. Alrighty. I'm still alive, good. Alright, so let's do the other side. And let's try a different one where we can say, okay, so instead of, so if the low back is hurting for this one, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. So everyone give me that one. So everyone say keep the chest high, drop the butt down vertically. And right now what I'm doing is still a great leg exercise. I'm still getting rotation through the upper back. I'm still getting that glute to load. Keep going for me. Good. Does everyone feel how there's less load on the low back? What I could also do is I could also say, give me this. So I'm just saying, just point it at the mirror. Just point it at the mirror. So that way now I'm not loading forward, and also, or I could say touch the right hand to the left hip. Touch the right hand to the left hip. By doing that, I'm not bringing it out here, so I start loading the low back in a sagittal plane. I'm just loading the low back in a rotational plane right here. So the low back's still having to work in rotation. And if that hurts, then I know that they've got a low back that won't go forward and it won't go in rotation. So I know that everything I do, I have to treat them almost like they're pregnant, meaning that I don't want any rotation of the hips relative to the low back. Okay? Which is what I do with someone if they were pregnant. So, so we've got that one down. That would be for low back. For knees, like I said, I would take out the rotation, just go straight down. For shoulders, if someone has a shoulder problem, it will usually be with this one, because they'll come here, and then that shoulder will be in this internally rotated position, and they'll say, I just don't like that. If that's the case, then give them an open grip and have them come here. Okay, you're not going to get as much rotation through the upper body, but it'll be something that'll be easier for their shoulder to handle, because all of a sudden I've locked that shoulder in an open position. You got me? Good. So right now what Erin's doing is Erin's trying a neutral grip. So if I go here, now I'm going to end up there as opposed to internally rotated. I've got neutral or I've got open. You can choose which grip you want. Is good? Is this helping you guys, or does this feel repetitive? No? Good. All right. Upward tilt. Good. All right. So now, if I want to make it hard, I can have them reach out further, and I can have them go super slow in the down phase. Okay. So I'm going to go internally rotated hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 4 seconds down, 1 second up. So I'm going to use tempo in this case. So I'm going to go so at the bottom. So I'm going to go get to here, because about here to here isn't really much of anything. So what I could do is I could say, let's go super slow and give me a double tap. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone getting that one? Yeah? Does that feel easy enough? I mean, does that feel like it's challenging enough without needing to grab a heavier Viper or anything like that? Did you understand what I just said? Good. You guys just like, yeah, move on, moving on. All right, good. Cable twist. All right. Okay, feet wide, hips rotate. I'm going to come through. So what I want is now, who's my Pilates people? Pilates people? Okay, so Lindsay, so when you're doing your Pilates rotations, do you want to talk about the Pilates style of doing this rotation?
It's pretty similar to what you do already.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just different because all the time you have to use weight, just using a ball or something.
Right.
You're more focusing on going slow.
Cool. So you're using a ball, not a cable to pull with. Good. And let's try like a Cadillac or something like that, and then I can set that up. Yeah. So if I'm doing ball, then the load is vertical with a very gentle rotational component. With this, load is hugely rotational. So now, if you see clients doing a lot of this, okay, really without moving the hips, then what that tells me is basically the low back's doing all the work, and the hips are basically so tight that they don't really want to play. If I can wake up some athletic trainers call this the big house, And then if I can get the big house, the hips, the glutes to work and rotate and be mobile, then everything else can build upon that. What I want to do is I want to emphasize the rotation of the hips, rotation of the hips. So that way I've got the upper body, almost the shoulders, almost staying in unison with that. You'll see people, now I can make this a lot easier for people on the low back by going here, 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 here. So what I'm doing is I'm allowing them to bring it in tight, and bring it out, bring it in tight, bring it out. I'm just saying really emphasize that rotation through the hips. So for the low back, I can go rotate, bring it in tight, rotate, because really it's here that I have to use a lot of core to stop that upper body just rotating and sagging down this way. Out here is going to be really hard, in here is going to be a lot easier. Now, what I can do for that is I can go, okay, so I might go, I could also say, if I really wanted to emphasize rotation of the hips, I could allow this heel to rise up, bring it in, make this heel rise up. So now I'm forcing them into rotation. Here, I'm allowing the rotation to happen. So I might just say, come here, allow the outside foot to rise up. Come here, allow the outside foot to rise up, if there's no knee problems. Because right now, my right knee is feeling a bunch of rotation happening. But I can go here. Now, to get here is going to require me to activate the internal rotators of my hip. Coming out here, basically nothing is going to switch on except that this muscle is going to load on the outside of the hip and say, I'm getting ready to activate to bring it back. So, very different movements from one side of the hip to the other side of the hip, depending on which way I'm facing. So if I know I have someone that I want to get rotation through their hips, this is a really easy exercise to come to and say, okay, really emphasize that. In fact, I want even more rotation now to go super stiff hips, so pick that foot up. By picking that foot up, I internally rotate this right hip, and I load the external rotators of the right hip. So then I can come out and be like that. So then, obviously, when I'm on the other side, I can now say, okay, now give me that rotation, now give me that rotation, right there. But generally speaking, the vanilla version of this exercise, I can go here to here, and that's what I'm looking for. Just knees soft, chest high. I see a lot of people lock the knees out. I don't want to see that. I'll see a lot of people come low, and they'll treat it almost like it's a golf swing. I don't want that either. Or rather, if someone has problems with the low back and they want to do that, I'll be okay with that. But they certainly have to voice to me first that they have a problem with the low back. So I can take it down vertical. But really, that's the idea of what I want. Alternatively, I can bring it in here, bring it in there. I always want the outside hand to be on the inside. And that way I can wrap that around. And I want them to pull with this hand, not push with this hand. I want that because I want to stimulate and wake up all these muscles connecting from here to here to bring it through. That's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking to switch on the muscles at the back of the body so that way they walk out of here tall rather than here. Because if I activate this hand, if I activate with this hand, this hand closest to it, then what I'm doing is a couple of things. I'm activating here, activating the pec. I'm also switching on the inside hip here. So what I'm doing is I'm closing the body down. And so if I did a lot of that, a lot of pulling in, then I'm just going to switch on these guys. And then you'll go, okay, exercise over. And I'll go, great. And I'll basically, I'll be all hunched over. As opposed to if I've pulled, then this guy's woken up. Everything from down to the outside of my ankle, all the way through the outside of my left hand has switched on. And then I can step out of it and be nice and tall. The tricky thing is that from the outside, it can look exactly the same. So you've got to really emphasize that to the people. And you can usually see it because you'll see when it gets tough, people start to go, like they'll start like really like bearing down because they're trying to shorten this chain as opposed to staying nice and tall as they come through. Cool? All right. I can also, if someone has low back pain, so I don't want to give you guys too many variations. So one would be, try here, okay? If that one doesn't work, try this one, okay? If that one doesn't work, try this one. If that one doesn't work, open the stance. So now what I've done is I've said, give me a smaller range of motion. And I'll say, just point towards that mirror. And so now what I've done is I've said, I'm not going to put the low back in a fully twisted position. I'm just going to open the feet to this way, and then when I come this way, I'm going to open the feet this way. Does that help? So what I've done is I've set it up so you can't be loaded, Because right now I can rest here, and I'm resting in a position where my low back's only twisting slightly. And so then I'm going here. So really what I've done is I've said instead of 180, I'm going to go 90. And I'm going to be loaded at this 45 degrees and at this 45 degrees. Sorry, I'm going to be loaded at this 45 degrees and that 45 degrees. You got me? So I've gone from here to here. I've reduced the range of motion of the exercise. And of course I can go here, here if I want to, even again. Or if they go, nah, then while I'm here I can just be like, all right, cool. I know it's going to go left and right, so let me just go, just give me a squat. Just give me a squat and pull. I can just give them that one instead. Hopefully they know this one already, or I can just go hold a squat, give me a pull, and then when they switch sides, then you switch sides. Okay? So there's never a written in stone rule for going to that exercise. I just want to be able to stick with that exercise if I can, because of the way we build our workouts is we want those 8 major movement patterns. If I want this twist for a reason, so that way they can get out in the real world and do a twist, then I want to see where is their range, where are they successful, and how do I keep them in that range of success, and then know that if I can keep them successful so they walk out and the low back doesn't hurt, then I can basically know that the rotational aspect of the low back has still been challenged. So that way I'm still gifting them with some rotation ability. Okay, let me steal yours for a second. Okay. Oh, hang on. So high to low. So let's talk about shoulders real quick. So if someone has bad shoulders, they're typically not going to have problems up here to down here. They're not going to have problems going from high and pulling low. Okay? They will have problems. So that would be my version if someone has bad shoulders. So that's bugging my shoulders. I could just take that high and then they're good to go. However, if I go from low to high, that right there, that, as soon as I get into the red zone of the shoulder or anywhere above horizontal, that is where the shoulder is typically going to have some problems. So I can basically go, that is not something I want to do with someone who has expressed to me that they have a shoulder issue. I don't want to take their hand up here under load going through rotation, especially because chances are that when I get to here, this will get hard, so they'll go, let me push with that other hand, and then this hand is really in an impinged position. So what I could do with someone to make it harder, though, is I could say, give me that. Give me that. So I can go squat, explode. Squat, explode. I want to get them as close as I can. So there, explode. There, explode. 1, 2, 3, 4, explode. 1, 2, 3, 4, explode. Cool. Do you guys want to play with that one? Come on. So let's go. Let's have you guys. Lindsay, do you want to be camera woman? I can get you a band if you want to play. Since we only have 3. Just hold that as well. All right. So let's go with those variations real quick. So I've got these 2 handles, but typically speaking, this guy right here, in case I haven't given you this little tutorial thingy. The reason for this handle exists the way it does is so that I can, maybe not that heavy, is so that I could possibly come here, and at this position right here, I've virtually made my forearm about 3 inches higher, longer. By making that forearm longer, it means that there's a lot more stability, there's a lot more work that my bicep has to do, and also there's a lot of stability that has to happen through my wrist. So in terms of gaining wrist strength, in terms of real world strength, I want to pick something up, and I need to have some sort of wrist stability to it, then it's a great exercise. However, if I don't want to be in that mode, all I got to do is bring it around and click it in. Okay, good. So 1, 2, 3. They're all yours. So give me a regular vanilla one, and we'll just see how it feels. Good. Yeah, face this way for me. Good. So come out a little bit. Good. Knees soft. Good. What's wrong, Mariah? Good. So nice and tall. Good. Let me get some WD-40. Good. So try going low like a golf swing. Sink it. Good. Okay, cool. So now, try going across, but bring the hands in together, and then bring them out. Go for it. Good. Keep the knees soft. To pull? Yeah, you want to push. Yeah, basically what you're saying is it's going from here, it's going, well, let me push. Yeah, you will actually end up, you'll end up pushing with that one because the body went from a closed position, wants to push out. Good. So now, try that with the left foot rotating in as you return. And then extend out, and then the left foot rotates in as you return. Good. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring the heel up so I internally rotate the hip. Bring the heel up so I internally rotate the hip. Good. Good. How's that feeling back, Becca?
Oh, my back's really tight.
Your back's really tight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Becca doesn't have a problem with flexibility. I know that. Good. No, yeah, right. All right, good. So what other variations do we put on that? Low to high. So let's go put it up high, take it up high. Good. As high as your tiny selves can take it. Good. Good. And then we're going to start above the head and finish at hip height. Go for it. Good. Again, I really emphasize that rotation through the hips. Now, here's what people want to do is they want to cave over. Don't allow that to happen. Okay, keep the chest high as they go. Good. Good. And the knees stay soft. Knees stay soft. Good. So now, relax that. Take it low to high. Let's go the other way, though, so face the other way. So take it all the way down. Good. Shuffle out, shuffle out. Good. Let's go nice and easy. So hold up real quick. So what happens sometimes with this handle is it'll pop out like that. So if it pops out, I don't necessarily want to use it that way because it's got holes and it'll dig into people's hands.
Okay.
If that happens, just fix it like that. And you can wrap the softies around it as well if you need to. All right, ready? So squat down low, nice and slow, take it up high. Good. Good. So now let's go 4 seconds down, 1 second fast up. Becky, you go at your pace, okay? Okay, good. So squat up high, fast. Good, and then 1, 2. Squat as you come down, squat as you come down, and then power up. 1. Squat as you come down, squat as you come down, squat as you come down, squat, 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 squat. Done. Surprise, surprise. Okay, cool. So that proves our theory anyway. So for you, okay. So go to chest height. So so a quick easy fix. I'm going to reduce the range of motion. Okay, so still give me the power and come back down. Go for it. Okay, everyone else stops. I was like, it hurts, Rebecca. I want to stop. Good, and power. Good. How's that, Mariah? Better, but it's still there? It's doable. Okay, so now let me reduce the range of motion to just in front of the chest. There. Good. Squat, 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 squat. There. Squat, 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 squat. How's that? Still bad? Okay, so you would stay slow. Okay, but let's bring it up to chest height. Bring that up to chest height for me. And let's try it with a 30% range. Okay, so feet are not going to be parallel to the machine as they were before. They're going to be open about 30 degrees. So everyone should have their feet facing this way, facing this way, facing this way. So bring it out. Get the load. Good. So shuffle out so that way you got some load on the weight. Go that way. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Good. Nice. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to point at the kangaroo and then back at the machine. Go for it. Emphasize the hips. Knees soft. Emphasize the hips. Good. Smaller range of motion, still feels like it. Mariah picked like the super heavy weight too. How does that feel on the back, Mariah? Feels what?
It feels weird.
Feels weird.
Mid-back.
Feel in your mid-back, through the thoracic more. Through the upper back.
Is it when you're twisting in or twisting out?
Try that.
When I'm coming back. Like my right erector, like it right.
Your right erector kicks in.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I've got pink right here, so it's like.
Everything feels that right now?
Everything's guarding this, so I'm sticking all over.
Okay, cool. How about you?
I'm feeling it right here.
On the right side.
Stop right here.
On the right side, when you stop. All right, cool. So the key thing is it's that stopping that's getting us. So what's happening is when we go through a full range of motion, he's not having to go there. When we're out here, he's relatively safe. when we're stopping there. So if I got that feedback, I would say continue on through the full range of motion. Because now what I'm doing is instead of saying 90 degrees, I'm saying, okay, if it hurts you to stop and start right here, then let's come out all the way through. And so yes, to keep coming. So keep the feet facing the same position, but try it now. So go all the way through, and then come to there. All the way through, come to there. Is that better? Good. Yeah, Rebecca's just in pain in general. Get your feet more that way, Becca. Good. Good. Good, relax. Good. Feel good? Muscle elasticity is where I'm going to go to. So I'm going to say that if I'm here, the muscle can lengthen out, and then it can shorten and then lengthen out as I rotate through. So now if I stop it here, then all of a sudden I've taken away that muscle elasticity. And when you come back, so I freeze it right here, and then the muscle goes like, whoa, crap, okay, I've got to hold everything right here. It's so as opposed to out here, when I'm in this position, there's no real rotational ability forcing me to stabilize. You with me? So if I'm right here, if I get to here, then is there much rotation force? Not really. There's lots of force pulling me this way, but there's not much. The second I get to about here, that's when the rotational forces kick in. Because now, so if I were here and I brought it in here, then there wouldn't really be much rotational force. It would all be pulling me towards the machine. The second I get here, then that rotational aspect of the spine kicks in. Whereas you guys have no problem with the frontal plane, so I can go here and then bring it back to here, and then go here and then bring it back to here. You with me? Cool. Or I mean, if I have someone who's now the challenge is if I'm here, then if I come out here, I'm super challenged in the rotational plane out here, as opposed to being at a max range here. It's really you've got to think about like a spin like we see like I forget what culture it is, but have bowlers, like where they have like the balls on the end of a rope and they swing around, and like the big long ones like they get a huge amount of force going, and then they can like knock animals out with it. The thing is here, if I have a big rotational plane here, so for someone like me who has super long arms, my back's under even more load as opposed to some of our tinier people who are more here. It's going to be less rotational plane stuff happening. So the further away they get, the more rotational force the body has to take. The second I get here, there's no rotational force. The second I get here, there's no rotational force. There's just force pulling. There's still force, but it's just pulling me this way or pulling me this way. And my low back's fine that way. But in a rotational sense, all three of you have challenges, right? Yes, we do. But that's okay.
Because we need more love.
That's right. Need more hugs. So, crawl with rail yard. Alrighty. So we come over here. So a crawl with rail yard is a little bit different than a regular crawl, in that a regular crawl I can take my hands anywhere I want to be. Crawl with rail yard, I'm locked in a certain range. All of these are flat right now, but if you have it rounded, that's when it gets really interesting. If you watch the video that I did with Susie Wargen for a 9 News TV spot, you can see her do it and then do it backwards, and it was like, whoa, that's like actually like, she did really good for her first time. I know she was like scared she was going to fall off like on TV. I wasn't trying to embarrass her, but I was like the trouble is, like, people at home didn't realize how awesome it was, like, how well she did it. Like, she's truly an athlete. So anyway, so what I like to do with this, real easy, so I just like to go 1 foot on the logo, come up, 1 foot on the logo, 1 hand on the logo, come back. Nice and easy, just like that. Give me that real quick, unless that hurts your backs. Good. So time out. What's that? You almost stepped off? Took time out. So, what I can do alternatively with that is if someone has a problem with that, is I can say, typically if someone has a problem, they'll have a problem going backwards rather than going forwards. Because going backwards, the shoulder has to load into that red zone. Whereas here, I'm sort of accepting the load, and by the time I've accepted it, I'm about here. Okay? So what I can do is I can say to people, go to the end, turn around, and then come back. So keep going forward. Now, if someone goes, still bugs my shoulder, then I'll have them go side to side push-ups. Okay, so let's just do that real quick. So each of you have different levels, but we'll just stay where you are. Good, so side to side, feet move as you go. Aaron's like, oh, sucker. Good, so feet go, so I'm going to have you go traveling sideways push-ups, so go all the way to one end. Good, and then obviously get to the other end, and then bring it on back. Good. Other variation of what I can do with this guy is I can do hop overs instead. So basically I can go 1 foot on, crawl, crawl, crawl. So what I'm doing is I'm letting both shoulders be together, crawl, crawl. So I'm making one shoulder load as the other shoulder goes. Okay? So try that for me. So just both hands together. You'd almost call it like a kangaroo crawl. And then back, back, back. Or I can go a hop over. So give me a hop over with it. Hands stay on. Go, Aaron. Good. So you hop over, move the hands, hop over, move the hands. Good. How's that feel? What's those feet? Good. Everyone, anyone have any other variations on that they like to give with clients when they say the shoulders hurt? What's that? Just do push-ups?
Yeah.
Cool, okay. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of inchworms, like inchworms in the classic sense of that, in that I don't like that if someone has a low back problem, that they're going to get to about here, and then typically when they get about here, they'll get creative, you know, and then they'll come up. And so I'm typically not a fan of inchworms, especially because the only way you can really get up is once you're about here, is to stand up. However, if you wanted to do a traveling inchworm here, so you never actually stand up, but you're going, come close, come away, come close, come away. You got it. So you would say, go to your comfortable range of motion. So if you said, so go to wherever you feel comfortable, and we're just traveling as you go. And what I like about that one is it means that I can step down, as opposed to like from an inchworm, if I'm on ground, there's only one way I can get up, and that is to get creative to try and find a way to stand up. Whereas if I'm here, and I go, done, then I can go, I'm good. So let's try that.
I've had them ask you that when we have to touch our toes. I'm like, I can't touch my toes. I can't ask you to do something.
Well, we could. Sorry. Yeah, but at the same, we could ask them to do something we can't too. Don't let that. Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, it's like, you know, if we could do it, it doesn't necessarily mean we should expect them to do it either. You know, like someone's been through 17 back surgeries, we shouldn't be like, suck it up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So try that one for me. So start at the end. Actually, you know what? To make it even easier, start on the ground. Okay, and then pick one foot up. So from there, pick one foot up. Good. Now, tiny, tiny hands, tiny, tiny feet. Tiny, tiny feet. Inch, 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 inch. Good. Hands, 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 hands. Inch, 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 inch. Hands, 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 hands. Good. Now, hands, 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 hands. Good. Feet, 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 feet. Good. Hands, 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 hands. Feet, 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 feet. What do we think?
I like how you come out of it.
You like how you can come out of it? Does it feel like it's just as challenging as a regular inchworm? Does it feel? What do you feel? What would you give this exercise for? Because it doesn't. To me, it doesn't really fulfill, you know, a tilt. It doesn't really fulfill because we're not really tilting under load because we've got both points on the ground. We could call it a crawl. So in other words, if you were to say, this is my crawl for this workout, you know, if we were to try and mentally fill in those like sort of 8 windows to say, how can I hit each one of these during my workout, then that might be a way we could do it without worrying about hurting the low backs of people in the class. Because if we have a class that shows up and no one has low back problems, then none of this is going to be required. But if I have a class and I know 2 people or 1 person has a low back problem, then I don't want them to feel like they're the only Gumby in the room. So I want them to feel like they're included. So if I give an exercise like this, they can say, great, it's like, it's traveling inchworms. Then on the rail yard, then all of a sudden, like you said, I can unload out of it without sort of having to do that sort of awkward, like sort of dance that you see people do sometimes.
Do you think that would be a problem with people's shoulders? I would say yes.
Yes.
My shoulder hurts right now, I'm not hurt.
Then yes.
Say